After months of not seeing much from Star Trek Prodigy, we have finally got a new trailer. Roll it.
I'm getting out of here to a better life.
You're the only one who still thinks he can.
What will happen if they catch us?
Like it or not, you're stuck with me.
I tried to save you.
Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack, let's get into it. This year's San Diego Comic-Con, Paramount Plus hosted a panel for its animated shows, and among them were obviously Star Trek's contribution of Lower Decks and Prodigy. We've seen what Lower Decks has to offer, but not much from Prodigy until now. Join us as we take a look at the teaser trailer they revealed and what we might be able to glean from it. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. Okay, let's hit it. So, the Prodigy trailer starts with the character of Dahl, played by Brett Gray, in an EVA suit on what seems to be possibly a dilithium mining prison planet, kind of like Rua Penthe, where prisoners have to mine for dilithium. The prisoners in the EVA suits are pushing something, as they're being watched over by a scab-like robotic drone. Over this, we do get a very evil sounding voice of possibly the warden of the prison planet saying, "No one shall escape." Dahl says he wants to escape this planet and look for a better life, as we get the next environment scene, which at first looks very similar to the rocky, but actually looks like a spiky fortress building. If this is a prison mining planet, then this is probably where the warden resides, and obviously it looks evil and something you'd want to escape from. Now this brings us to Gwyn, the 17-year-old Varnakat, a new species to the Trek canon. We know from previous descriptions of the character that she was brought up of her father's mining planet, so we can safely assume that this mining prison planet probably belongs to Gwyn's father, and is the reason why she wants to escape, but also free people from servitude like Dahl. We get Dahl in some sort of vehicle, and then a giant bridge that is letting debris float into space. What this means, we don't really know, but perhaps this is some way Dahl tries to escape from a prison planet by piloting a vehicle up this ramp, which might be sending debris up into space, so it doesn't litter the planet. Dumping debris into space. Zero, the Medusan, a species what was seen in the original series, is there no truth in beauty, is heard being voiced by Angus Imrie, who gives quite a light floaty voice to a Medusan, which makes sense as they are genderless non-corporeal entities. Zero says, presumably to Dahl, that he is the only one who thinks he still can, and this might be in reference to leaving and finding a new and better life. We know that the Medusans can read minds, so this could allude to the fact there are all other prisoners on the planet that have given up hope of escaping except for Dahl. Zero is seen on the bridge of a defunct Starfleet ship, so Zero could also be talking about Dahl believing they can fix the ship and escape, whereas the other characters of our motley crew do not believe the ship can be fixed at all. The Bricker, Rok-Tahk, has such a different voice to the giant hulking exterior, as they are very soft-spoken and a pacifist that loves animals. We found out during the panel that her familiar or pet is Murf, the best character of the crew who is just a sentient, spineless blob. Rok-Tahk is worried that the scarab drones will catch him, and what will happen if they do. The animation of the drones running is really cool and very animal-like, so it'd be cool to see them in action, and what might they do if they catch the escaped prisoners. For that, we'll have to wait and see. Now the Tellurite, Jacon Pog, voiced by the amazing Jason Mantzoukas, plays a 16-year-old Tellurite, and just sounds like a normal Tellurite, argumentative for argument's sake. He tells someone that they're stuck with him, so presumably he's imprisoned on this planet as well. Since there are a couple of Alpha Quadrant species, could there be another Nancine which brought them here, similar to the caretaker from Star Trek Voyager? We know the prison is ruled by Gwyn's dad, but perhaps his adoptive father and Gwyn's dad is a Nancine. It would explain why a Starfleet ship is here, as well as an Alpha Quadrant species. This is also a wild theory and I doubt it would be true, but it's interesting nonetheless. We get some purring screaming from Murf, which is just as weird but also extremely cool. Apparently Murf is very intelligent, but just can't speak with the rest of the crew. Perhaps because the universal translators just can't translate Murf's language. We can see that Rok-Tahk can understand Murf and translate for them. Like a Shaggy and Scooby situation in a way, maybe. Gwyn says, "I tried to save you," probably talking to Dahl and probably from imprisonment by her father. It'll be interesting to see her dynamic with her father as she sees these people and wants to save them. But Dahl in response says, "Now we can save each other," as we assume they will fix the ship and escape the planet together. The group do find the defunct Starfleet ship, the USS Protostar, NX-76884, an experimental prototype starship. As it's called a Protostar, our first phase of the ship uses wormhole technology assistance as a means of propulsion. This is because in a Voyage episode, The Omega Directive, it stated that theoretically, the detonation of a protostar could create a stable wormhole for a ship to travel through. This ship could emulate this, instead of having to detonate a star and create a wormhole for travel. Though as we find it crashed on a random planet in the Delta Quadrant, it's not perfect technology at the current moment apparently. And looking at its registry number, 76884, this would probably date the ship to have been made after the Dominion War, as the USS Sao Paulo, which was later named the USS Defiant, had the registry of NCC 75633, and the Sao Paulo was made in the final days of the Dominion War. This makes sense, as the ship has a training hologram of Captain Catherine Janeway, which only makes sense if the ship was commissioned after the return of USS Voyager in 2378. Janeway was promoted to Vice Admiral, or Vice Lieutenant depending on if you ask Jerry O'Connell, but was Vice Admiral in 2379 during events of Star Trek Nemesis. So maybe the ship either got between 2378 and 2379, or they just decided to make the hologram of Captain Janeway and not Admiral Janeway, I don't know. For those of you who don't know, Star Trek Prodigy takes place in 2383, which is just 5 years after the return of Voyager, and I doubt it would have been made after 2381, as Starfleet was only moving its shipbuilding facilities to make the Romulan refugee starships. We'll be going into detail on the ship, the USS Protostar, in another video, so look out for that, but for the moment I just want to say it looks beautiful and deceptively smaller than it looks on the outside, this with it being CGI animation. This might be the most accurate ship we've seen on screen in regards to size in the Star Trek universe, because some ships we saw just didn't work with shuttles coming out of them and whatnot, it's a bit weird. The bridge of a Protostar is very Odyssey-like from Star Trek Online. Very open plan, but the addition of very open canopies, which allow for a much larger viewing angle, though does pose a weakness with it being exposed. The L cars on display on this bridge are very iconic, but it does look like it sticks out of the consoles a little bit. This could be a precursor to the extremely holographic interfaces that are present within Starfleet by the time of Star Trek Picard. The consoles on the USS Odyssey bridge also have very similar holographic interfaces, so perhaps we're seeing the evolution of Starfleet tech. Some iconic Star Trek music plays, but then we hear the one and only person we've been waiting for, Captain Catherine Janeway. I am glad that we didn't see Janeway in this trailer, as the focus should be on our motley crew, but it was nice that they had her voice at the end to remind us that yes, Captain Catherine Janeway is back. She only says, "We've only just begun," so I cannot wait for her journey and what this show will take us on. It's going to be amazing. And we end on a funny little note of Dahl noticing there are a lot more stars than he originally thought, so he might not have been brought up on this mining planet, which is a grim prospect, but I'm glad he'll be able to escape in the show and explore the universe. Now the best news of this panel is we finally get a more accurate release date. Star Trek Prodigy will be released in fall 2021 on Paramount+. For international regions that do not currently have Paramount, there is no current word on international distribution, apart from it coming out on Nickelodeon after it's finished streaming. But we do hear international distribution news, we'll be sure to let you know. And that was our first official teaser trailer for Star Trek Prodigy. It looks absolutely stunning, from the lighting effects, environment art, and the characters. The ship is definitely a Star Trek ship, but it has its own quirks visually, which help to set it apart from other well-known Star Trek ships. But what did you think about the trailer for Star Trek Prodigy? Did it get you excited for the show? Let us know down below in the comment section, because if you're talking Star Trek, we want to hear about it. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper my friends, goodbye.